Hello, and welcome back to Horoscope TV. It is fantastic to have you with us again.
Great to be here.
Usually when people open up these monthly forecasts or check their apps, they're kind of looking for something specific.
The green lights.
Exactly, the green lights. They want to know the good days to buy a lottery ticket, the bad days to, I don't know, text their ex, or just a general heads up on when to maybe just hide under the covers.
hmm
But we aren't here to just read this surface level blurb today.
Yeah.
We're here to understand the actual, cosmic weather patterns that are driving those events.
That is the goal. It is the difference between checking a weather app to see if it's raining right now versus understanding the climatology of the entire season.
Oh, we like that.
We want to understand the atmospheric pressure, the wind direction, the underlying currents, because when you understand the why, the mechanics of the astrology, you stop being a passenger who is just reacting to turbulence.
And you start becoming the pilot.
You start becoming the pilot. Exactly.
I love that distinction. And for the analysis we're doing today, we are absolutely going to need those pilot skills. We are focusing exclusively on the forecast for Cancer for February 2026.
A big one.
And I have to be honest, looking over the data you've prepared, the charts, the transit tables, the energy here feels heavy. I don't mean bad necessarily, but weighty. The words that kept jumping out at me in the notes were legacy, rebirth, authority, and cutting cords. This doesn't sound like a light and breezy month for our Cancer friends.
No, it is certainly not light.
Right.
If you are a Cancer or, if you have significant placements in Cancer like your moon or rising sign, February is a massive pivot point,
Pivot point.
a huge one. We are looking at a convergence of planetary movements that we haven't seen in this configuration for
That cute.
decades. It involves a structural shift in career due to Saturn, a deep psychological shedding of skin due to a solar eclipse, and a spiritual expansion in relationships. It is, it's intense.
It really sounds like the universe is asking or maybe demanding that Cancers grow up this month.
Maturation is the perfect word for it. The mission of this analysis is to help the Cancer listener navigate a month that is essentially asking them to step up into leadership, real, tangible, high-stakes leadership,
While still being a Cancer.
while simultaneously protecting that sensitive, emotional, crab-shell core that makes them who they are. It's a tough balance.
Okay, let's get into the mechanics of this, because when you talk about leadership and heavy energy in astrology, there is usually one culprit. And looking at the timeline, he arrives right in the middle of the month.
The headline event.
Absolutely.
On February 14th, Saturn enters Aries.
Valentine's Day, which feels like a cosmic joke, doesn't it?
It's a little bit, yeah.
The day of romance and chocolate, and the universe serves up Saturn, the
Yeah.
planet of rules and restrictions.
It is ironic, for sure. While everyone else is focused on hearts and flowers, the Cancer chart is getting hit with the planet of cold, hard reality. Saturn is moving into Aries, and for Cancer, this is happening in the 10th house.
Okay, we need to pause and really analyze what that means mechanically, because I think people hear 10th house and they just think career. But it's more than that, isn't it? It's much bigger.
Oh, much more. The 10th house is the midheaven. It is the very top of the chart, the high noon position of the sun. It represents your public self. It is your reputation, your standing in the community, your authority figures, and your legacy. It's the house of the boss.
And Saturn is the boss.
Saturn is the ultimate boss. It governs structure, discipline, time, karma, and responsibility. It's the cosmic taskmaster.
So when the cosmic boss enters the house of the boss, what happens? Is it like a boss off?
It's kind of like that. You get a double dose of authority energy. This marks the beginning of a major, major cycle. Saturn moves slowly. It spends about 2.5 to 3 years in a sign.
Right.
So this isn't a temporary transit where you just have a busy week at work. This is the start of a 3-year construction project on your professional identity.
Wow. The forecast mentions the weight of authority. That sounds intimidating. Is this something Cancers should be worried about?
Not worried, but prepared. I think prepared is the right word. The forecast explicitly states that Cancers are being asked to step up. This is the cosmic promotion.
A cosmic promotion. I like that framing.
But think about what a promotion actually feels like in the real world.
It's stressful. At first, anyway, you have to prove yourself all over again.
Exactly. The first month of a major promotion is rarely fun. It involves late nights, learning new systems, maybe managing people who used to be your peers.
Which is always awkward.
Super awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And you're making hard decisions. You feel the weight of the position. That is the energy of February 14th. Saturn is handing Cancer a heavy load and saying, I believe you can carry this. Now prove it.
Here's where I want to challenge the idea a little bit, or not challenge, but explore the friction. We're talking about Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. It is cardinal water, sure, so it initiates, but it initiates through emotion, intuition, and connection. Aries, where Saturn is moving, is fire. It's impulsive, direct, and sometimes, frankly, aggressive. Doesn't that create a fundamental friction right there?
That is a brilliant observation, and it is the crux of the difficulty here. You have identified the elemental clash perfectly.
It's oil and water, or fire and water, I guess.
It's fire and water. You have the sensitive, fluid, nurturing nature of Cancer trying to operate in the dry, hot, rigid structure of Saturn in Aries.
So it's like trying to keep water in a sieve or something like that.
Or trying to navigate a battlefield without your armor. Saturn in Aries is demanding that Cancer develop a thicker skin.
That's hard for them.
It's so hard. It is asking them to separate their role from their self. Usually, Cancers blend the two. They take work personally because they care so deeply.
Of course.
Saturn in Aries says, no, you are the general now. The general cannot cry in front of the troops. The general must be decisive, even if it hurts feelings.
That sounds incredibly draining for Cancer. Just exhausting.
It is exhaustion by design. And that brings us to the concept of legacy. The forecast emphasizes this word again and again. Saturn isn't interested in the quick win or being popular this week.
No, he's playing the long game.
Saturn is interested in what remains after you are gone.
The statue they build in the park.
Exactly. You don't get a statue for being nice. You get a statue for building something that lasts. So the psychological shift for you, the listener, this month is moving from I need to get through this work week to I am building my empire. And that requires a level of discipline that might feel foreign and uncomfortable at first.
So no shortcuts.
Saturn abhors a shortcut. If you try to cut corners this month, especially after the 14th, you will get caught. The data is clear. Hard work is the main theme. But the payoff.
What is the payoff?
The payoff is that you are laying the foundation for the next 3 decades of your professional life.
Wow. That is a massive stake.
Yeah.
But as if that wasn't enough, the universe decides to throw a curveball just 3 days later.
It doesn't let up.
No. So we have Saturn on the 14th, and then on February 17th, we have a solar eclipse.
Yes, a solar eclipse in Aquarius.
And this is happening in the 8th house. Now, the 8th house is notoriously one of the most complex and, I think, misunderstood houses in astrology. People hear 8th house and they get nervous.
With good reason. It is the house of Scorpio. It rules the mysteries. Birth, death, sex, transformation, and on a very practical level, other people's money.
That includes debt, taxes, inheritance, all that stuff.
All of it, shared resources.
Yeah.
But psychologically, it rules the things we share with others that we can't easily get back, our trust, our secrets, our deepest vulnerabilities.
And a solar eclipse is essentially a supercharged new moon. It's a beginning. But in the 8th house, a beginning usually requires an ending first, right? You have to clear the space.
Precisely. You cannot fill a cup that is already full. An eclipse in the 8th house is about cutting cords. It is a blackout and a reboot. The forecast uses the phrase rebirth. But to be reborn, a part of you has to die.
That sounds dramatic.
It is dramatic. But it can play out in very practical ways. This could be the month you finally pay off a massive student loan.
Okay.
That is a death of a debt and a rebirth of financial freedom. Or it could be ending a business partnership that has become toxic. You cut that cord.
The notes mention letting go of emotional attachments that hold the listener back. This connects back to the Saturn transit, doesn't it? It has to.
It connects perfectly, and this is why we analyze the whole sky, not just one planet in isolation. Remember, Saturn is asking you to climb the mountain of your career.
Right, the new promotion.
You cannot climb that mountain if you are dragging a heavy suitcase of emotional baggage, old grudges, or, financial chaos behind you.
So the eclipse is the moment you cut the rope on the heavy suitcase.
Yes. You just let it go. It is the cosmic spring cleaning.
Yeah.
But it's not just dusting the shelves. It's going into the basement,
Wow.
finding the boxes you haven't opened in 10 years and throwing them in the fire.
Rebirthing yourself.
It is a blank slate moment. It allows the Cancer individual to walk into that new Saturn authority role lighter, cleaner, and more focused. But the act of cutting those cords can be painful.
Sure.
The 8th house doesn't let go easily. Cancers, by their nature, hold on to the past. This eclipse is forcing their hand.
Okay. I want to zoom in on the career dynamics again because we have the broad strokes. Saturn is the promotion, the eclipse is the cleanup. But life happens on a daily basis. And looking at the specific transits, there are some days that look let's just say volatile.
That is a polite way of putting it.
Ah.
While Saturn sets the climate, the daily transits are the storms. And we have a few storms coming through.
Specifically, I'm looking at February 16th. This is smack in the middle of that Saturn eclipse window. The sun squares Uranus.
Let's analyze the geometry here because it's important.
Okay.
A square in astrology is a 90-degree angle. If you imagine standing on a street corner, a planet squaring you is coming from around the corner. You can't see it.
It blindsides you.
It blindsides you. It's an ambush, in a way.
Is it always bad?
Not always bad, but it always creates friction that demands action. And Uranus is the planet of chaos, sudden change, rebellion, and lightning strikes. So when the sun, which represents your ego and your conscious self, squares Uranus, you get a sudden disruption to your identity or your path.
The forecast mentions this involves a group or organization.
Yes. So imagine you are at work. You have your plan for the week. Suddenly, on February 16th, there's a restructuring announcement. Or a professional organization you belong to changes its accreditation rules. Or a team you rely on suddenly dissolves.
Okay, so a total surprise.
Total surprise. It says here it could open or close a door.
That's the Uranus trademark, isn't it?
It is. It slams the door shut.
Yeah.
But in doing so, it might blow a window open somewhere else.
Yeah.
The advice for you is do not cling to the plan on February 16th. If a door closes, don't stand there banging on it. It closed for a reason. Look for the window.
And then we have the end of the month, February 27. Mars squares Uranus.
This is the red alert day.
Yeah.
If February 16th was a surprise, February 27 is an explosion.
That sounds fun.
Not so much.
So Mars is the warrior planet. Uranus is the rebel.
Correct. Mars governs our drive, our anger, our ambition, and our action. Uranus governs volatility and breakthroughs. When these square off, it creates a highly combustible, highly unpredictable atmosphere.
Okay.
The forecast warns of frustration with the pace of progress.
Which makes total sense, because remember, Saturn just told us to go slow and build a legacy. But Mars and Uranus are screaming, I want it now!
Exactly. The internal tension is sky high. You have the pressure to be the mature general from Saturn, but you feel the urge to flip the table, which is the Mars-Uranus energy.
The specific prediction here is interesting. Clashes with a friend who is also a colleague.
That boundary is very dangerous on the 27th. Blurring the lines between buddy and coworker will backfire spectacularly.
So if you have a grievance with a work friend, do not air it on this day.
Please don't. It will not go well. You will say something you regret, and the Uranus energy will make the break sudden and final.
So what is the strategy? If I am a Cancer, and it is February 27, and my colleague is driving me up the wall, and I feel that Mars rage bubbling up, what do I do? How do I handle that?
You have to channel the Saturn energy we talked about earlier. You have to be the adult in the room. You have to be the one who doesn't react.
The long game?
Saturn wants you to look at the long game. Ask yourself, if I scream at this person today, does it help my 10-year legacy? The answer is almost certainly no. You have to rise above the volatility.
Keep cool. Wear the silver armor we'll talk about later.
Precisely. Let everyone else lose their heads. You keep yours. That's the test.
Let's pivot to the financial landscape. Because with that eclipse in the 8th house, the house of other people's money finance, is clearly a huge theme. But looking at the data, it seems like a roller coaster. There's some serious highs and lows.
It is a tale of two halves. Absolutely. The month actually starts on an incredibly high note regarding your personal income.
February 1st, the full moon in Leo.
Yes. And for Cancer, Leo rules the second house.
And the second house is personal income. My money.
Your wallet, your salary, your possessions, what you earn. A full moon is a culmination. It's the harvest. It brings things to light.
So something comes through.
Literally on day one of the month, you might see a harvest. A bonus check clears. A client finally pays that invoice they've been sitting on. You successfully negotiate a raise, and it hits your account.
That is a great cushion to have before the Saturn heaviness sets in.
It is validation. It's the universe saying, see, your work has value. And then just a few days later on February 4, Uranus goes direct.
What does that do?
Well, Uranus has been retrograde, which can make money matters feel stuck or unpredictable in a bad way. When it goes direct, the energy unlocks. It moves forward.
And that affects the windfall sector.
Yes. The forecast suggests a possibility of an investment gaining value unexpectedly, or a lucrative opportunity coming out of the blue from a friend.
So early in the month, say yes to the coffee meetings network.
Absolutely. The social circle is a potential gold mine in the first week of February. Keep your ears open.
But then we hit the mid-month mark, and the eclipse shifts the focus from earning to managing.
Right. And that's a key distinction. Earning money, which is the second house, is very different from wealth, which is the eighth house. Wealth is about what you keep, what you owe, and how you leverage resources. The eclipse in the eighth house is demanding a cleanup of the balance sheet,
The forecast suggests paying off a large debt.
which is the smartest thing you could do this month. If that full moon bonus comes in on the feast, do not go buy a new wardrobe.
No retail therapy.
No. Take that money and kill a debt on the 17th during the eclipse. That aligns your action with the cosmic rebirth energy. You are literally buying your freedom.
But then, the end of the month. That Mars-Uranus square we just warned about for career. I'm guessing it creates a hazard for the wallet, too.
It creates a massive hazard, a huge one. Mars represents impulse. Uranus represents risk and sudden events. When they square, it creates the gambler's fallacy.
What's that?
You feel lucky, you feel rash, you think you can beat the odds.
High risk of sudden losses.
This is not the time to play the stock market with money you can't afford to lose. This is not the time to walk into a casino. And the forecast gives very specific advice. Do not lend money to friends on or around February 27.
Because you won't get it back.
You likely won't get it back, and you will lose the friend in the process. Remember, Uranus is the planet of severance. Money mixed with friendship under a Mars-Uranus square is a recipe for a severed relationship. It's just not worth the risk.
And to make matters more complicated, Mercury goes retrograde on February 26.
Yes. Just add a little paperwork chaos to the mix.
Of course.
Mercury rules details, contracts, communication numbers. When it goes retrograde right at the end of the month, the risk of clerical error skyrockets.
So double-check the tax return.
Triple check it. If you are signing an insurance policy or a loan agreement, read the fine print 3 times. Better yet, wait until March if you can. But if you absolutely must sign, have a second pair of eyes look at it.
So the financial strategy is make money early, pay off debt mid-month, and lock the vault late in the month.
That is the perfect summary. Absolutely perfect.
Let's move to something a little softer. Because honestly, with the career battlefield and the financial roller coaster, I feel like I need a hug just talking about it. And it looks like the universe is actually providing one.
It is. And it is a beautiful balance. While the 10th house is on fire with stress, the relationship sector is being flooded with soft, healing water.
February 10th is the key date here. Venus enters Pisces.
This is one of the best transits in astrology, period.
Yeah.
For anyone. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and harmony. Pisces is a water sign, just like Cancer, so they get each other. But more importantly, Venus is exalted in Pisces.
Exalted. What does that mean, technically, for someone who might not know?
It means the planet is in its favorite place in the whole zodiac. It is functioning at its absolute highest, most beautiful potential. It's like a world-class chef walking into a fully stocked, state-of-the-art kitchen.
They can just create.
They can create their masterpiece. Venus in Pisces is unconditional love. It is spiritual, boundary-dissolving, romantic, and deeply compassionate.
And because it's a trine to Cancer, it's easy, right?
It flows effortlessly. There is no friction here. The forecast describes the love energy as adventurous and spiritual.
It's a sanctuary.
Exactly. Think about the contrast. You spend your day at work being the tough Saturnian boss, wearing your armor, dealing with the Mars-Uranus explosion.
Feeling all that pressure.
And then you come home, and Venus in Pisces is there to just wash it all away. It's a cosmic bubble bath for the soul.
The forecast notes an attraction to different backgrounds or cultures. Why is that?
Yes, because for Cancer, Pisces rules the 9th house, the house of travel, higher education, and expansion. So love feels like a journey this month.
Okay.
If you are single, you might meet someone who is totally not your type, someone from a different country or with a different philosophy who just completely opens your mind.
And for those already in a relationship, the advice is actionable. Plan a trip.
Yes, even if you can't go right away. The act of planning a getaway or just taking a weekend drive to somewhere new taps into that expansive 9th house energy. It deepens the bond. It reminds you that there is a world outside of your stressful job.
There is one hiccup to watch out for, though. February 8, Venus squares Uranus.
Right before Venus enters that blissful Pisces state, she gets a little jolt from Uranus, a sudden surprise in the social circle.
A friend introducing someone unexpected.
That's the optimistic view. And with Uranus, it could be amazing. A love at first sight moment. You go out with friends and bam, there's the person.
But it could also be a disruption.
It could. It could also be a friend acting weird about your relationship, or a sudden change in social plans that throws you for a loop. It's unpredictable.
But once you get past the 8th, it's smooth sailing until the end of the month.
Until the Mercury retrograde and that Mars square kick in again, they get into everything.
Right. February 26 and 27, the forecast warns about misunderstandings regarding future plans.
This makes perfect sense. Mercury is in that 9th house of the big picture. When it's retrograde, it means we are rethinking the big picture. So you and your partner might sit down to talk about where you want to live in 5 years, and suddenly you realize you are on totally different pages.
Or you think you are on different pages because you're miscommunicating.
Exactly. That is the retrograde trap. You assume the worst because the communication is fuzzy. The advice is, do not have the define the relationship talk on February 26th. Pause. Wait for the retrograde to clear.
And the Mars-Uranus square on the 27th brings up jealousy and possessiveness.
It creates tension between your need for freedom, that's Uranus, and your personal drive, that's Mars. It often plays out as a conflict between your friends and your partner.
Like, why are you spending all your time with them and not me?
Precisely that. That kind of argument is very likely on that day.
So again, keep cool. Don't let a temporary transit ruin what is otherwise a beautiful month of love.
Correct. Recognize it as the weather, not the climate. The climate is Venus in Pisces. Love is strong and beautiful. The weather on the 27th is just a thunderstorm. Let it pass.
I want to talk about health, because you mentioned earlier that the body keeps the score, and with Saturn sitting on the shoulders of every Cancer this month, I imagine the score is pretty high.
It is. This is a critical part of the forecast that shouldn't be overlooked. You cannot undergo a massive 10th house Saturn transit without feeling it somatically.
Somatic. That means in the body, right?
Yes, physically. Saturn rules the structure of the body, the skeleton, the bones, the teeth, the joints, the skin, the hard parts.
Yeah.
When we feel the psychological weight of responsibility, what do we do physically?
We tense up, we hunch our shoulders, we clench our jaw. My shoulders are creeping up to my ears just thinking about it.
Exactly. We harden, we become rigid, and Saturn is the planet of hardening. So the forecast predicts tension headaches, stiffness, back pain, and just literally feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders.
And then you have the eclipse in the 8th house, which is deep psychological purging. How does that show up?
That can manifest as anxiety or gut issues. The 8th house is the gut, the place where we process fear and trauma. If you are not consciously letting go of that emotional baggage we talked about, your body will try to hold on to it.
So what is the prescription? The forecast suggests water therapy.
It sounds simple, almost too simple, but it's elemental alchemy. Cancer is a water sign. Pisces, where Venus and Mercury are, is a water sign. Saturn is earth and structure. When you are feeling too rigid, too dried out, too stiff, you need hydration.
Swimming, long baths, ocean time if you can get it.
It's about immersion. Being in water helps dissolve the Saturnian crystallization. It reminds the body how to flow again. If you're feeling stuck or stiff this month, get into a pool or a bath. It will do more for you than a massage.
Really?
I think so, because it works on that energetic elemental level.
There are a couple of specific dates for physical risk. February 20, Saturn joins Neptune.
This is a tricky aspect. Saturn is reality. Neptune is illusion, fog, and sleep. When they join, it can create a sense of physical drain. It's like the gravity is turned up on that day.
Physical weakness or confusion.
You might feel exhausted for no reason, or your immune system might dip. It is a day to prioritize rest. Do not push for a personal best at the gym on February 20. Listen to your body.
And then our accident-prone friend, February 27.
Mars square Uranus again. We keep coming back to this day because it's so potent. Mars is speed, Uranus is accident. This combination rules cuts, burns, trips, and falls.
Usually caused by rushing, I imagine.
Almost always. You are rushing to a meeting, you trip on the curb, you are rushing to chop vegetables for dinner, you cut your finger. The energy is frantic and electric. The antidote is deliberate slowness. Watch your step, literally.
I want to do a quick compatibility check, because the forecast paints a very black and white picture of who is helpful this month and who is, let's say, a challenge.
It is very polarized. There's not a lot of gray area in February.
The best match, Pisces.
No surprise there, right? We spent a whole segment talking about how wonderful the Venus in Pisces energy is. A Pisces partner or friend embodies that. They provide the emotional bubble.
I love that image. The world is a storm, but the Pisces is the calm eye of the storm.
They get it? They understand without speaking. When Cancer comes home stressed about the legacy work, Pisces doesn't ask for a spreadsheet or a 5-point plan. They offer compassion. They value intuition. They are the safe harbor in a chaotic month.
And the worst match, Aries.
which is fascinating because Saturn, the source of all this stress, is in Aries.
So an Aries person basically personifies the stress. They become a walking, talking Saturn transit for you.
Exactly. The Aries archetype is bold, direct, fast, and all about tough love. Usually that can be motivating, but this month, Cancer is already drowning in that energy from the cosmos. They don't need it from their partner, too.
The forecast says Aries might lack patience for the insecurity caused by the eclipse.
Right. Cancer is going through a deep, vulnerable rebirth in that 8th house. They might be weepy, processing old wounds, feeling fragile. Aries says, why are we dwelling on this? Let's move forward. Let's go.
It's a pacing mismatch, a huge one.
A total mismatch. And on February 20, when that Saturn-Neptune confusion hits, the Aries bluntness can be devastating. Trampling on dreams, as the notes say. It's fire-scorching water. It's not that the Aries is being mean, necessarily.
They're just being Aries.
They're just being Aries, but it is the wrong medicine for the moment.
So hug a Pisces and maybe tell the Aries you're busy until March.
Or just communicate clearly. I need softness right now, not a pep talk. An evolved Aries can understand that.
Before we wrap up, I want to touch on the philosophical undercurrent of the month. We have Mercury entering the 9th house on February 6th and then retrograding there at the end of the month.
This is the hidden gem of the month, I think. Amidst all the hard work and emotional purging, there is a deep spiritual longing. The 9th house is the house of wisdom, philosophy, and higher learning.
The forecast mentions a desire to escape daily routine.
Cancers will be feeling a serious wanderlust, a need to see the bigger picture. But because of the retrograde later in the month, physical travel might be frustrating.
Delays, lost bags, the usual Mercury retrograde stuff.
Exactly. So the journey turns inward.
Questioning beliefs.
This is the perfect time to revisit a subject you used to love. Reread a philosophy book you liked in college. Return to a spiritual practice you let slide. It's about questioning your own operating system. Why do I believe what I believe?
That actually ties back beautifully to the legacy theme from the beginning. You can't build a meaningful legacy if you don't know what you stand for.
Everything is connected. The internal work you do in the 9th house provides the blueprint for the external work you're doing in the 10th house. One informs the other.
All right, we have covered a massive amount of ground. Let's distill this into the cheat sheet for our listeners. The quick facts to stick on the fridge.
Let's do it. The highlights.
Lucky color, silver. The code is hashtag C00000.
The color of the moon, which is Cancer's ruler. But also silver is metallic. It's armor. It reflects negativity away. I would say wear silver to important meetings this month.
A little cosmic armor. I like it. Lucky numbers. 2, 7, 11, 20, 36, 44.
We see a lot of master numbers there, 11, 44. These are numbers of building and intuition, which is a perfect blend of Saturn's mission and Cancer's nature.
And finally, key dates for the diary.
Okay, number 1, February 10. Venus enters Pisces. That is your peak romance and spiritual connection day. Lean into that softness.
Okay.
Number 2, February 18, the Sun enters Pisces. This brings hope and expansion, lifting some of the heaviness of the eclipse as a breath of fresh air. And through February 26, Mercury retrograde begins. That's your signal to slow down, review, and double-check all your work.
This has been such a deep analysis. It really, really feels like Cancers are stepping into a new era of their lives this month.
They are. It is not an easy month, I won't lie about that, but it is a consequential month. This isn't a filler episode in the TV show of your life. This is the season finale and the season premieres all wrapped into one.
So if you had to leave our Cancer listeners with one final thought to chew on, one question to carry with them through February, what would it be?
It comes back to the intersection of the eclipse and Saturn. We discuss stripping away the past to build the future. So my question for you is this. If you were stripping away the past to build a massive new legacy, what is the one habit, the one emotional safety blanket you're most afraid to lose, but you know deep down you must?
Wow. That is a provocative question. Is it your need to be liked by everyone? Is it your fear of confrontation? Is it avoiding risk?
Whatever it is for you, identifying it is the key to unlocking the power of February. That's the cord you need to cut.
Something to mull over as you wear your silver armor. Thank you so much for breaking this all down for us. It has been a fascinating look at the mechanics of the month.
My pleasure. It is a powerful time. Navigate it with intention.
And thank you to you, our listener, for tuning in to this analysis on Horoscope TV. We hope this helps you navigate the cosmic tides of February 2026.
Don't forget to subscribe so you get notified when the next episode is available. We'll be here to guide you through the next shift.
Until then, watch out for those Aries, enjoy the water, and we will see you next time.